It's me, Flyersguy, and welcome to another episode of Throwback, Flyersguy. I'm your host, Flyersguy. In my last episode, I talked about my memories of 2012 and 2013. In today's episode, I'm going to talk about my memories of 2013 and 2014. Let's do a recap. It was Christmas Day, and that year I ended up in lots of France at Christmas. But I really enjoyed my Christmas holiday that year. After this, we get into New Year's Eve. I didn't do much for New Year's Eve that year. But then we finally get to the year 2014, New Year's Day. We had gone to my Uncle Paul's house, and for that year, I wore my Toronto jersey and my New Year's 2014 sunglasses. My sister Megan said I looked like Elton John with those glasses on. And honestly, Elton John was a legendary musician, so I'm gonna let that go. We get into January 2014. After the New Year's Day party, I get home. I'm feeling pretty good. So I wake up the next day, and I'm having severe pains in my leg, severe cramps in my leg that day. And then I quickly found out that I was dehydrated 2 days after that. So I started to drink lots of water to get myself hydrated, and it worked, and I was feeling much better in mid-January. I do remember not feeling too well. And one day in January, when the Flyers had a game against the Buffalo Sabres that day, Flyers ended up winning that game, and they ended up having the same issue in the game against the Devils, which I watched on TV. Flyers won in overtime. Reed Shen was the overtime game winner. Then we get into after this we get into the month of February, and the NHL was officially off due to the World Tournament that they were having that year. Me and my dad had tickets to another Adirondack Phantoms game at the Wells Fargo Center. It was a game against it was around February. Me and my sister were watching Family Ties. We also finished the Boy Meets World DVD. We ended up watching The Wonder Years. And we finished that as well. I remember before this Phantoms game in February, me and my sister were watching that 70s show on Netflix. We watched all the episodes. We watched a lot of the episodes that month. And in February, me and my dad went to the Adirondack Phantoms game in Philadelphia at the Wells Fargo Center. This was the last time they would be the Adirondack Phantoms this season, and we get to the game, and I meet two of my friends, my friend KB and another friend of mine as well. So we met up before the game. I was eating a cheesesteak at the time, and I was trying to get the words out, but I had food in my mouth when I was talking, and I felt kind of embarrassed. So I swallowed the food quickly, I got to talking to them about the game. Also, my friend Rich was there as well, and I talked to him. He's a cool guy. Davey's really cool as well. After this, I remember that the other friend that I talked to, unfortunately, I lost touch with the other friend that I was talking about. But me and Katie, we're still in touch, and we're still pretty cool with each other. We're still good friends. But the other girl that I was talking to, she kind of lost interest in hockey. It had something to do with the city I was leaving. But apparently, a lot of people were huge fans of me around their families. I myself, not so much, but I supported them. It just didn't make sense to have a Philadelphia minor league team be in New York. It just didn't fit. So she lost interest in hockey, and I just decided to not talk to me anymore. She blocked me on unfriended me on Facebook, and I tried to get back in touch with her, but it just wasn't working. So after this, it's the month of February. We also have a few games against the Philadelphia Flyers that season as well. And after one of the games, me and my dad went to Checkers to pick up some food. We got something for me and my sister as well. And Checkers is really good. Unfortunately, the one closest to us is closed right now, so that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. So we got home and we finished watching the rest of Boy Meets World. We were almost to the end last season. And we were watching episodes every day. We eventually finished the season that month. Finished the Wonder Years. And we were going to finish up that 70 show. We watched Family Ties. We kind of got tired of it. Shortly after this, the Flyers Lives Carnival was coming up in the month of March. That year, I remember, I think it might have been Scott Hartnell I was meeting that year, or I forget who it was. But that year, we went to the Flyers Carnival in 2014. And unfortunately, my friend Nicole wasn't there. She was planning on going to a carnival at that time, but something came up she didn't show. I was kind of disappointed. I kind of thought that she dished me, but I didn't realize that, it is what it is. Things happen sometimes. People cancel. I ended up being really upset when we left that day. And I kind of forgot about it later and realized, you know what? I'll forgive her and I'll let her go, It was a cancellation. Me and her were still friends after that. There were no hard feelings after that. We were still pretty good friends after that. So, after the Flyers Carnival that year, the day before the Flyers Carnival, I had gone to a Flyers Ottawa Senators game that year. And I recently, actually, around this time, met up with my friends. Two of my friends at the Flyers game that day. After the Flyers won that game, we got up and got ready to go to the Flyers Carnival. The night before that, I was watching Silver Linings Playbook. Actually, I don't remember. I think this was last season at my friend's new show. And the show was the Carnival. 2014 was kind of a blur. In 2014, I think I ended. I think I remember meeting Scott Hartnell that year and getting his autograph that year. And the night before that, I was watching Silver Linings. I mean, that was last season. So around 2014, we get into the month of April. Flyers had a good push, and they actually got in to the playoff picture. Big victory over the Dallas Stars, Florida Panthers, and we got a very important point over the Tampa Bay Lightning. We ended up having to go to the doctor's appointment one day that year, and it was around late. After I got home, had some tacos for dinner. After this, around April, the Flyers were playing their last game of the season. During this time, I went to my local deli and tried new flavors of cheese curls. They were pizza flavored cheese curls. And they were really good. Unfortunately, they were limited time, but they were so damn good. We get into April 2014. And during this time, in April of 2014, I was watching Shameless, the UK version, on Netflix. In my 2013 video, I was also watching the English version of Shameless as well, and I love that show. The British version was okay. So the Flyers won their game against Carolina Hurricanes. Also, me and my sister finally finished that 70 show. And the Flyers played the last game of the season against the Carolina Hurricanes. They lost that game, but it was a damn good game. The Flyers' first opponent that year in the playoffs was the New York Rangers. I watched game one. It looked good in the beginning, but then it was the Rangers who got the victory in game one. In game two, the Flyers got a Saturday afternoon victory over the New York Rangers. Game three, it was the Rangers who got the upper hand on the Flyers. Game four, Flyers returned the favorite. Flyers returned home. I think they ended up losing game four, I forget. We get to game five. I think they ended up losing games 3 and 4. So let's see. Flyers lost the first game on the second game. Flyers were able to the Flyers won game 4. Then they lost game 5 against the New York Rangers. Came back to Philly for game 6. Flyers won the game. Wayne Simmons with the hat trick in game 6. And in game 7, I remember the day of game 7. I went to the dentist to get a checkup and to do a few things with my teeth. Unfortunately, they weren't able to do anything about it because I was on the sip and puff machine at the time. Going into the month of that month, it's my dad's appointment. I went home and I watched the Boondocks episode of the Boondocks, and I watched a movie called Movie 43, which was a comedy movie. It was pretty funny, but very strange. Then it was time to get ready for Game 7. My dad was coming home late from work, and so he picked me up some food at McDonald's. I had a double cheeseburger and a medium fries, and I was watching the Flyers Rangers Game 7. The Rangers had to nothing like the Flyers. Ravens narrowly a 2-1, but they weren't able to get the victory. And that was pretty much it for Flyers playoffs hopes. The playoffs had ended. The tough way to go out. Very disappointing. But you know, I got over it. Get into the month of May. And during this time, I remember playing some emulated games on my computer. Other games was Pokemon, Liquid Crystal, and a lot of other different Pokemon games as well. Around this time, in May, around May, during this time, I remember in May I was watching a lot of different YouTube videos at the time. And we get into the month of May, and I think I ended up going to NXT that year. I don't remember if it was this year or the year after. Wait, let me look that up really quick here. Let me look that up. When did NXT have their first house show? House show at Tower Theater. Tower Theater. Yes, he has shows up. There's membership place. Tower Theater. Let me see here. I'm trying to look this up. Here it is. I mean, fill it up. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, it was the year after that. Yeah, it was the year after that. It was the year after that. It wasn't this year. Definitely wasn't this year. It was the year after. So it was definitely the year after we went to Tokyo. So, it was a year after. It was definitely a year after that. But I do remember one day me and my dad getting into a heated shouting match. I don't know if it was this year. No, it was the year after. It wasn't this year. It was definitely the year after. No, actually, it might have been this year, yeah. Now, hold on. It was the year after. Okay. Okay, so. Alright, so we get into 2014. Around the, later this month, around the month of May, or around June, I was watching the In-Betweeners, and also the In-Betweeners movies as well. And around this time, I forgot to mention there was a Flyers game I went to in March against the St. Louis Blues, where I met my two friends, Christina and Caitlin, for the first time ever. And I was really happy about that. I was glad that we finally got to meet. Shortly after this, the next day after that, me and my family ended up going to a WWE house show at Sun National Bank Center in Trenton, New Jersey. A pretty fun house show. And then a month later, around the summer of 2014, we went to a house show. It was in Philadelphia with me and my dad and my sister. And the day after that, I went to Aunt Michelle's house. And before we went to her house, I was watching NXT pay-per-view. It was really good. I remember wearing my Bailey snap bracelets that year. And I remember during this time, this was the year I got into a heated shouting match with my father. I was eating I was eating breakfast. Got into a shouting match, and I kind of felt bad. Well, I really felt bad for things I said, and he felt bad for the things that he said. And luckily, we forgave each other, and we forgot all about it. He was in something happened, and once I went to the deli to Boston, and I came back home, and things seemed okay. I know my dad was feeling bad about the whole situation. At the time, me and my sister were watching a new show called Getting On. It's a really funny show about workplace comedy. It's about these people that work in this nursing home, and it's hilarious. After this was before the house show that we went to. After this, we ended up going to the house show on that day, and did a lot of fun. And we went to Aunt Michelle's house the next day for a barbecue, and that was really fun. And when we were getting home, this was around July, I accidentally crashed my chair into something. My dad wasn't happy about it, you know. But he wasn't mad at me. He was just trying to tell me that I need to be more careful. So me and him got into another argument. I said something I didn't mean, and I kind of went to bed feeling bad. The next day, everything seemed fine between me and my dad. And And he said he was sorry for what happened. I said, I'm sorry for what happened. They told me you gotta be careful when you drive. And I said, yeah, I'll be more careful. I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have said what I said to him. I shouldn't have said that I was in the wrong there. And shortly after this, around the late summer, I ended up getting really sick at the time. I remember going to a Phillies game on one of the days. I'm not feeling too well. I remember playing one of the Pokemon games. It was a fan-made game, and it was really fun. I also remember watching a Yu-Gi-Oh! Video game Let's Play on YouTube at the time. I was also watching Pokemon Black and White on Netflix. I was also watching some Netflix documentary about steroids and sports. I also remember eating some Tostitos, a couple of chicken rolls, and also eating some Tostitos, jalapeno popper rolls. I was feeling a lot better later in the week. I even went to the deli to hang out with everyone. I was feeling pretty damn good. At the time, we were buying a new living room set from Raymore and Flanagan around. It was around August, the day of that. I remember watching Big Mama's House in the morning, the Big Mama's House 2. And once the month of August wrapped up, we got into September. And at the time, during the summer and into September, I was watching Impact Wrestling. And I remember one day I was eating a Jimmy Dean breakfast bowl. And that day, I wasn't feeling good that day. I went to my local deli. I didn't think nothing of it. Came home, felt like crap. This was the day of my doctor's appointment. I came home, and I wasn't feeling good. I woke up later that day, and I remember eating dinner around 7:30 because I just got over my sickness. I also remember having Popeye's chicken that year as well, around this time. And that was really good as well. We get into the month of October, and this was one of the biggest obstacles that my family had to face. Not just my family, but one of the biggest obstacles my dad had to face. That year in October of 2014, my dad was diagnosed with cancer. And it was a battle. I remember one day he woke up and he just was not feeling well. He was holding his head and he just was not feeling well. He went to the hospital, got the diagnosis, and it was cancer. And this is one of the hardest things my family had to face. This was only the beginning of challenges my family had to face. We get into September 2014. And during this time, my Uncle Paul and my brother would come to help transfer me out of a wheelchair and stuff. And I remember the day when my dad was taken. 10 days later, I was watching WWE Monday Night Raw. And I was also watching a movie called Hearts in Atlantis, and also watching a new episode of South Park. During this time, I was at the deli and hanging out with my friends. I didn't want to tell them what was going on because I just didn't think it was great. My dad was going through a lot. So around October, around late this month, I was planning on trying to get tickets to the WWE Royal Rumble. It was in Philadelphia that year. Unfortunately, I failed to give me tickets. During this time, the Flyers had an alright season. In the beginning, my dad was recovering from his cancer. He came home a few weeks later, and he was recovering from it. And it was a tough time for him. Around November, my dad started getting his strength back, and he was feeling better. He was feeling really good. We ended up going to our first few Flyers games, and he was feeling good. They were pretty good games. Thanksgiving was great. We got to spend it with my dad. I also remember that year eating a turkey Diablo and creamless hoagies for the first time. It was really good. We get into the month of December, and my birthday's coming up. My 28th birthday came up, and that year, I remember going on the computer that year and playing an emulated Nintendo DS game. And that game was Pokemon Black. I had a lot of fun with it. I just enjoyed playing it. That year, my dad, for my birthday dinner, my dad got me a spicy turkey club from Wawa. One of my favorite things to eat at Wawa from Wawa is a spicy turkey club. Delicious. After this, we get into the month of during December, and we're going to take out a lot of Flyers related stuff. A lot of cool stuff from my birthday that year. Christmas was officially coming up that year. We had planned to have my cousins come over for Christmas Eve that year. We had planned it. We got some hot wings from the Rib Rack and some Chick-fil-A nuggets. Corey curry from Chick-fil-A. Before this happened, we had a doctor's appointment. The week before this, we had a doctor's appointment. Well, I had a doctor's appointment. But before that, in November, I finally got my new wheelchair. Well, actually, it was around November into December. I got my new wheelchair. I think I'm pretty good. Afterwards, we ended up getting Burger King for dinner. And around December, we get into the week of Christmas. I had a doctor's appointment that week. And it went well. Afterwards, after a great appointment, we ended up going to Nifty 50s for lunch. I got a buffalo cheese, chicken cheesesteak. My mom got a cheeseburger and fries. And my dad got a cheeseburger and fries. I also ended up getting a milkshake to it. And some fries. The food was really good, so we got ready to go home. I forgot to also mention, this was the year that the Lehigh Valley fans had their inaugural season that year. I watched the first game in October. The fans won that game in the round, won that game early, won that game on the home opener. And the fans officially had their season. The Adirondacks fans moved out of Hunt Falls and moved to Allentown that season. We get into a month. This is before Christmas. It's the week before Christmas. And during the time I was playing a Digimon emulated video game. It was a lot of fun. Then, Christmas Eve, during that day, it's means to number 50, 50 is the day of my doctor, day of the doctor's appointment. I came home, took a shower, and had a bowl of soup for dinner that night. And I was getting ready to watch the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, the Hampton Senators game. The Lehigh Valley Phantoms won that game. And the next day, they won that game. And then we get into the week of Christmas. During that weekend, watching episodes of the show Scrubs and playing my emulated video game that I had on my computer at the time. I also forget to mention that in 2013, the summer of 2013, I had gotten a new laptop computer, and I enjoyed it. I was also playing an emulated game. It was Breath of Fire 3, and I had a lot of fun with it. And we get into Christmas Eve. And unfortunately, my cousins had to cancel. I didn't really take it well. I was disappointed, and I was a little upset. My cousin had to go to the hospital because of a medical issue. And unfortunately, they weren't able to come. And I was upset about it. Luckily, we had a lot of food saved up. At the end of the day, I realized that things happened. And I was concerned about my cousin. I even wrote on Facebook that I hope that she feels better. I never heard at the time. On Christmas that day, for Christmas 2014, I ended up getting, what did I get that year? Around this time, I was a big fan of Trailer Park Boys. It was my favorite show on Netflix. That year for Christmas, I don't really remember what I got that year for Christmas. I do remember it being a pretty good holiday. I do remember getting a Family Guy DVD for Christmas and watching the whole thing. And after this, we get into days after Christmas. And that day I just spent my time watching DVDs and stuff. Then we get into New Year's Eve. Didn't do much for New Year's Eve that year, just hung out. And after this, it was officially going to be the end of 2014. We would usher in a new year of 2014. I'm going to tell you of 2015. Well, I'm going to stop here. And in my next episode, I'm going to talk about my memories of 2014 and 2015. Till next time, everyone. Till next time.